All right, what is going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. A couple things to run through before we jump in to the chat. One of the things we're going to run through the health of Stellantis, the F1 Canada idea. Stellantis, of course, owns Dodge and Ram. F1 is going to race in Canada on Labor Day weekend, same weekend as the Indy 500. We're going to talk about if that's a good or bad idea. And Denny Hamlin says he is not leaving until the baby is born, which gives him a window of maybe late Thursday evening, super early Friday morning, maybe. So a tight window there. Denny Hamlin has given himself. But let's jump into first what is going to be the poll question. Is F1 racing in Canada at the same time as the Indy 500 a good idea? And so what we're talking about here is on 2026 next year, the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix will clash with the Indy 500 being on the same weekend. So that is going to, in some people's minds, sort of split the fandom. Like maybe some people that would go to the Indy 500 or some people that would watch the Indy 500 aren't going to watch it because F1's going to be in Canada. Maybe they make that voyage to Canada to watch the F1 race instead. So it has caused a lot of commotion. But to be clear, the scheduling conflict is not going to be like a thing that happens every single year from here on out. In fact, I think the way that F1 schedules their stuff, this is only going to happen once every 4 or 5 years, or something like that, every 5 years, according to motorsport.com, actually. And it's not going to be the same exact time that the Indy 500 happens. There might maybe be some overlap, but they are going to run this race before the Indy 500 starts. So there may be some overlap, but they will have different, at least, start times. So TV wise, you'll still be able to get the three races in. It doesn't really affect the NASCAR race at all because the NASCAR race is much later than either one of these races. But that is the poll question. Do you think the F1 race in Canada being the same time or the same weekend as the Indy 500 is a good idea? Yes or no is the poll question. I don't think it's really going to affect anything in the grand scheme of things. And here is why. If all of those races, and this is coming from a NASCAR fan first and foremost, if all of those races happened at the same time, I would still watch the Indy 500 first. So if you're going to, because it's the biggest race, in the United States, in my opinion. Maybe you can put the Daytona 500 up there, but I don't think it's even close. The Indy 500 by far, the biggest race. So I don't think it's really going to affect it. You might pull less than 10% viewership or 10% fans away from the Indy 500, but I don't think it's going to affect anything because I think the Indy 500 is by far the bigger event. It's the biggest race in North America, and it's going to get all of the eyeballs. It's still going to get all of the attention. If anything, F1 is kind of hurting the Canadian race more so than F1 is hurting the Indy 500. That would probably be the best way I could describe it. I don't think it's really going to affect it. It's not going to affect the Indy 500 at all. But that's just my view on it. Like a lot of people are worked up about it, so I did think I would mention it. I'm not, I'm a casual F1 and definitely a casual IndyCar fan. But that was my take on it. I don't think it's going to hurt. I don't think it's going to hurt the Indy 500 at all. I think that will continue to be the biggest race. It's just a spectacle event. You're not going to take anything away from it. A lot of people have pointed out, switching back over to NASCAR, a lot of people have pointed out that Stellantis, the owner of Dodge and Ram, is not doing well. But you could also say that about everyone in the market. But I did feel like I would address that because a lot of people have pointed that out. How can they possibly get into the truck series when they're not doing good financially? And to be clear, a quick Google search shows that North American sales fell by 25% in volume and 27% by revenue in 2024. Overall, Stellantis reported a 17% decrease in net revenues. So that coincides with their former CEO. He made this big push to electric. His name is Carlos Tavares. He made a big push toward electric, and that basically hurt the brand. But the Hemi is coming back, and they're going to drop that back into the cars. They've realized their mistake. If you watch the 1 minute long commercial on Ram, they have they've made the adjustment. They said, we own it. We're taking that. That's on us. And Carlos Tavares is out. The former Tim Kaniskas, the former guy that ran the Brotherhood of Muscle campaign, he is now in charge of Ram. We'll see if he can get more control over it altogether. But he is in charge of Ram. He is bringing Ram back to the Truck Series. But with their revenue and stuff like that falling, I want to point out that they're still making money. They're just not making as much money. So it's still a profitable business, but the profits have decreased by 17% overall in net revenue. So with that in mind, they're still making money. So I think that because you're making money, obviously it's a perfect idea if you're Ram to come into the Truck Series. That's going to help you sell trucks to a younger demographic and just to people who want to buy a truck and have it, drive a vehicle that NASCAR, at least NASCAR associated. That's definitely going to help with that. 100%. And the people that they've got sort of connected with it, it's not official or anything. But obviously, Cletus McFarland being connected with it, that's going to help you with the younger audience that might want to go out and buy those Ram trucks and things like that. So I think overall it's a good decision, but obviously they are trying to get things pushing back in the right direction to get back that 25% they lost, 27% they lost, 17% they lost, whichever one of those numbers you want to look at. So I think they're doing all the right things. This is one of those situations where you're spending money, hoping to make some more money in the future. And I think that this is a good idea. And I do think that eventually we will see Dodge in the Cup Series because that is going to be part of their overall strategy to get some of this percentage back, if I had to guess. So to me, that's why they're getting back in. But yes, they are struggling financially. But I think you could look across the board as far as that goes. And everybody would be struggling financially. And to the Denny Hamlin thing, the only interesting thing about the Denny Hamlin situation is this, he's probably going to get there. Everything will probably go okay. He's probably going to get there and race. But if he doesn't, he's probably going to get a waiver. But how would NASCAR treat that with the big to do that they made about the waivers and this, that, and the other thing? Would he lose all of his championship points? Still be locked in the playoffs, I guess. But would he lose all of his championship points and stuff like that? Because NASCAR released that earlier this year in response to Kyle Larson missing the beginning of the Coke 600, and obviously eventually ended up missing the entire race last year because the race was rain shortened. So that was NASCAR's response to that. But that is now going to affect Denny Hamlin because the waiver wouldn't necessarily save him. So how would NASCAR navigate that? NASCAR's response to if Denny Hamlin misses that race would be the interesting thing there. But there's really, in my opinion, really no need to worry about it or even think about it too long term until it actually happens. But him missing the race, not necessarily the most interesting thing because drivers are going to have life situations like this where sometimes, very rarely, they will miss a race. But NASCAR's response to this is going to be the more interesting parts, in my opinion. All right. That is the rundown. Once again, the poll question is F1 racing Canada the same time as the Indy 500 a good idea? The same weekend is what I meant by the same time. I worded that poorly. But there you go. That is the poll question that is up. So let's see what you guys want to talk about. Dirty Def, what's up, my friend? Good to see you in here. Lane saying what's up to Dirty Def, and what's up to Lanes as well. Beast 1624 saying Demi, talking about Denny Hamlin. Indeed. Denny Hamlin, he's up against it, but he said it's the right thing to do to stay there to welcome the newborn. He doesn't want to be in Mexico because obviously it would be a tougher situation to get back. So I understand where he's coming from there. Dirty Duff saying not much to in between the lanes. Charlotte saying the poll question seems like a bad decision. Yeah, and luckily it's only going to happen according to motorsport.com. It's only going to happen like once every 5 years. But like I was saying in the opening, I think it's only going to hurt F1. I don't really see where it's going to necessarily hurt the Indy 500 significantly because, like I said, the Indy 500, the biggest North American race of the year. And as long as they have different start times as far as TV stuff goes, I don't think it's going to hurt either one of them as far as the TV scheduling goes. Chase Elliott being aggressive OJ and Toothpaste, what's up, my friend? Good to see you on here. Chase Elliott being aggressive, great pit crew, was awesome. Alan Gustafson dropped the ball, says Joseph Wooten. Yeah, he missed the call on that one, but it is what it is overall. I don't think if I was the 9 team, I'd want to get rid of Alan Gustafson. But some Chase Elliott fans certainly feel different about that than I do. I heard about it this morning with Kenny, Coffee with Kenny this morning. It says in between the lanes. So Coffee with Kenny. Kenny was on it this morning early, back to talking about racing finally. With Ram truck burning it down at Michigan, I would get that diecast if it was ever made. Says in between the lanes. That would be pretty cool. They had basically a burnout truck. They had Anderson Silva. They had this big presentation over there at Michigan. So that was pretty cool for sure. Let's see. BB, have you tried the Dragon Flaming Whopper Meal? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I have not tried the Dragon Flaming Whopper Meal, but I'll tell you what, maybe for the next live stream, we can get something going. Well, the next live stream will technically be, I guess, in the morning, but maybe the next Tuesday live stream. So we will see. Can you imagine being in a convoy to Mexico City? Would be a crazy 15-hour drive on what has to feel like another planet, says Dirty Death. I don't know. I've never been to Mexico or driven through Mexico, so I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Mine is froze, says Dirty Death. Diesel Brothers were in the Ram truck teaser. Indeed, they had some more YouTubers in there. I think they're reaching out to Cletus McFarland. NPF said he lost a few seconds as well. All Ram had to do was design a body kit and do some marketing. It's Ilmore engines and chassis, not spec, but pretty close, says Cody Ledger. Indeed, all Ram had to do was slap a nose on it, basically. You're right about that. For the truck series, that would be probably the easiest series for anybody to jump in there for sure. Because like you said, the Ilmore has it under control with the engine side of things. You just buy one and slap it in there. Guts Glory Ram says in between the lanes, any thoughts about Denny possibly not racing this weekend? Said if his wife hasn't gone into labor by the time they're supposed to leave, he's not racing. So yeah, the interesting part about that, first off, good on him. Like that's the decision he made. That's a life decision. And I do respect that life decision. Some things are more important than racing for sure. So that is certainly his decision to make. The only thing interesting to me is NASCAR's response. Would he get to keep all of his points, or would NASCAR treat him like they were talking about earlier this year, where they take a driver? He would still be locked into the playoffs, but he would lose all of his playoff points and stuff like that. He would essentially have to start over and things like that. How would NASCAR handle or treat that situation? That would be the more entertaining aspect of that, or the more interesting aspect of that, if I had to navigate it and break it down. And without NASCAR jumping in and saying what they're going to do, it would be 100% speculation for me at this point. So that'll be the entertaining or interesting part of that. But we'll see if it happens. Maybe they induce labor. Who knows? They can do all kinds of things these days at this point. Denny Hamlin beat your favorites again. All of them, says in between the lanes. Yeah, so Denny formerly retired the "I beat your favorite driver," but he is now unretired his catchphrase, trying to be a heel. He also did the Michigan, and I'm sorry, he did the Ohio State thing in Michigan. So he's just going, as long as the crowd's not quiet. I guess that's the mantra that he's going with there. Toyota Sweep, says in between the lanes. Hey, BB, is it true that the Mexican military is going to convoy the transporters to the track? Look, if NASCAR wants to do it, I'm a retired vet and have been to many countries. Things could go bad, says Roger Riggs. I don't know. Stuff like that, I'm going to let NASCAR worry about it. I'm not an international safety expert by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't know. I feel like NASCAR, if they wanted to have the race down there, they've had one down there before. So I feel like they know what they're getting into. With certain things going on right now, maybe it's more spicy than it's ever been, but I don't know. I'm not an expert on stuff like that, but I'm sure that they have stuff in place to be as safe as possible. So hopefully everything goes off without a hitch, and nothing bad happens is all I can say about that. But I'm sure they've looked at all the contingencies and possibilities as far as that goes. F1 in Canada, the same time as Indy, is a really stupid idea, says Napa Racing Fan. Probably if you're F1. Like I said, I don't think it's going to hurt the Indy 500. I think the Indy 500 will continue to be sold out, and I think that'll continue to be the most watched event of the weekend. So I don't think I don't see where it's going to hurt the Indy 500. It might hurt the F1 viewership in the United States. I don't think it'll hurt the F1 viewership worldwide. And it certainly, I don't think it'll hurt the attendance because people are just dying to go to F1 races anyway, regardless of the price and all that stuff. It's just a hot commodity, and it's only going to become a more hot commodity with the F1 movie coming out and all that good stuff too. So yeah, but I think it'll hurt F1 more than it would hurt the Indy 500 if I had to garner a guess. How much security do you think was protecting the NASCAR hauler in Mexico? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't know. I don't know. Hard to say. I'm sure they had stuff in place, like if they feel like it was an issue or anything like that. I'm sure they had all kinds of stuff in place as far as that goes. Everybody seemed pretty loose. RFK was posting stuff on social media, so I don't. You don't get the vibe that they're super concerned about it, but you never know. You never know. The waiver for having a baby is just like an injury. The driver will keep all of their playoff points, says they're deaf. So there you go. If NASCAR had to respond to it, maybe they would treat it like an injury. So that is interesting. I can't remember if they said that they would treat the baby stuff like that just like an injury. So that'll be. I mean, I imagine they would, but it'll be interesting to see if they have to make that call, and because it's Denny Hamlin, what type of blowback that would be if it happens. So interesting for sure. How about NASCAR rented 4 commercial airplanes and everyone is flying on Thursday and coming back Monday? One of the few that isn't is Denny Hamlin, who is flying his own plane. So there you go. That Denny Hamlin, a little bit different than other drivers. Not only does he have his own plane, he has access to Jordan's plane as well, the G6 with the Jordan elephant print on it. Panthers up 2-1 on the Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals. Indeed, Florida is the mecca of hockey. Everybody knows that. Did anyone see the NASCAR Chasm Denny Hamlin Eminem collab after he won Michigan? I did not see that, but interesting. NASCAR Chasm been doing it for a long time, so super interesting that he is still going. If Denny misses for the birth of a child, PRN reports that NASCAR would give him a waiver, says Tim Bray. So there you go. PRN on top of it saying he would get a waiver. And it would be like a health waiver, I think, is what Dirty Def was saying up there earlier. So super cool as far as that goes. Harold the Frog, what's up, my friend? Do you iRace? And if so, do you feel like actively watching NASCAR helps with your skill? Says DeJuan Franklin. I do not iRace. Back in the day, I didn't have good enough internet, and I just haven't repurchased the subscription since I got it during the summer of 2020, we should say. Let's see. Denny beat my favorite driver, says like dislike. I think the good thing about iRacing, it gets you used to a groove. Probably the best thing about iRacing, if you've never been to a racetrack before, you can at least learn the groove of that racetrack. So I think that's probably the biggest benefits to translating to real life racing. But other than that, unless you've got maybe a super fancy rig where you can get G-forces simulated and stuff like that, I don't think it really is super beneficial other than just learning the basic groove of a track and getting used to where you can pass people. Because the rest of it is just so much different, at least as far as late models go. It's just so much more different than on that particular simulator or video game, whatever you want to call it. Denny beat my favorite driver, says like dislike. In between the lanes going Yahoo for the Denny Hamlin win. Douglas Serrano, I think Ryan Truex will fill in for Hamlin in Mexico City if Hamlin will miss it this weekend. He could. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But he is, in fact, the backup driver. So if he's the next man up, as they say. So it will be Ryan Truex if Denny Hamlin is not able to make it on Baby Watch there. It takes a baby to beat Hamlin Nation's favorite driver. At least Ty Gibbs won't be JGR's last place driver this week, says Jamie Schweitzer. If you get the Dragon Meal, you have to wear the BK crown. LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. I will definitely get the dark crown with the horns on it. If I get the dragon combo, I will get the full regalia for sure. Let's see. Napa racing fan. F1 this week, by the way, same time as NASCAR. Quite ironic considering NASCAR was looking at making Montreal the first international points event for a cup in modern history. It is. It is. So just the way stuff plays out sometimes, it, like you're saying, is quite ironic. But yeah, same start time, so it'll be interesting to see, at least in the North American market, how it goes head to head. Obviously, internationally, F1 is always going to win that one. I like just like saying I got a heart like a truck, taking it back to the Laney Wilson Ram commercial that they played repeatedly over and over again back in the day. Who are your early picks for this weekend? Says OJ and Toothpaste. Well, we don't have any information necessarily on Mexico City, but if you look at road courses since February of 2020, Chris Buescher has the best average finish at 7.9. He also has one win in his 16 races. In his 5 races, Shane Van Gisbergen, they're not counting the Chicago street race, by the way. They're counting only road courses in this one, driveraverages.com, where I'm getting the info from. Has an average finish of 9.0. He is the second highest average finish. But if you want to include his win, that would bump all of that up, of course, from the Chicago race. Chase Elliott at a 10.0, Tyler Reddick at 10.2, Christopher Bell 10.3, Ross Chastain 10.3 or 13.3, William Byron 13.3, Carson Hocevar at 13.4 with 5 starts to his credit. So there you go. There are your big heavy hitters, but not to be slept on. At 13.9 is Austin Cindric, Michael McDowell 14.1, Alex Bowman 14.3, who is going to need a bounce back weekend. And right there with him is going to be a lot of people's favorite AJ Allmendinger at 14.3. Previous winners at road courses in those 16 would include AJ Allmendinger, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Chris Buescher. And like I said, once again, they count the Chicago street race differently than a road course, at least for driveraverages.com. So there you go. That is sort of who your favorites would be. My personal favorite, I'm going with either SVG or let's see here. William Byron would be a hard one to count out, and Tyler Reddick also from the Toyota camp, and Chris Buescher if you're in the Ford camp. Those would sort of be my picks as far as manufacturer and mate go. Like, dislike, shout out to Laney Wilson. Are we talking about, says Krusty? The birth of a child is one of the exceptions to missing a race rule, says Jamie Schweitzer. So there you go. Birth of a child is an exception. So there you go. NASCAR did verify or clear it up and outline it. Let's see here. I thought it was interesting that Ram said one of the reasons they made the announcement this past weekend, other than being in Michigan, is that they wanted to talk to potential truck teams for 2026. So there you go. Maybe they're still working on getting some other truck teams to join the Guts, Glory, and Ram brand. Prime showed Byron's Valvoline scheme early, heading into the backup hauler, says in between the lanes. There you go. So you get a little sneak peek there of William Byron's Valvoline scheme for Mexico City. Keep pumping the fence and all the crap, says Krusty. So he's all on it about something here today. How about Hamlin and KFB are the 2 winners from the Xfinity races at Mexico City, says Dirty Def. Oh yeah, that's right. So they do have Xfinity wins down there. But the solid axle car are totally different. The main Mexico City race I remember is when Juan Pablo Montoya put it in there deep, and Scott Pruitt chopped him off late, or Juan Montoya slung it in there late. However you want to look at it. But that's the main race that sticks out to me in my mind over there. But they did have some other races over there. So interesting. Yeah, they do have laps there on the solid axle type of cars. I'm not against the Mexico City race, just against no Canada race. I think it's great to have some international races and start with North America, says Napa Racing Fan. And I think that they had those thoughts and those ideas, but I don't think something happened with the Montreal date. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that fell through for this year. We might see something different for next year. The F1 cars are too big for the Monaco track, says OJ and Toothpaste. I think at this point, any cars other than maybe Mini Coopers are too big for the Monaco track. Are Cheech and Chong driving any of the haulers, says Delmer Kaufman? To my knowledge, I don't think so. Fun fact: Ryan Blaney won the last truck race at Iowa, a win in a Ram. Says in between the lanes. There you go, Ryan Blaney, the last Ram truck winner in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Maybe we'll be lucky, and they'll schedule F1 Canada GP for 4 p.m. to make sure Indy finishes, but they'll probably schedule it at 2. Says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, hopefully it all works out and everything finishes, and you can watch them without having to flip back and forth. But if you do have to flip back and forth, I feel like most people are going to watch the Indy 500 and just, I don't know, maybe they'll get lucky and catch a commercial and see the end of the F1 race or whatever. Bring stock car racing back to Wisconsin. We have the oldest operating track in the country, says Robert Das, I want to say. So maybe Wisconsin gets a race back at some point. That they would definitely have to be on the short list of states that need a track for sure, or that need a cup race. I would say that for sure. The F1 race has to be the same time of both of the races because it's in the same time zone. They're not going to race in Montreal at 9 a.m. Says John Ray. Well, that's just what they were reporting over here. So I can't. I'm not gonna argue about it. That's just what the reporters were saying. So it is what it is. F1 just wants to screw up a schedule on a good day of racing, Memorial Day weekend. Maybe they want Monaco to be a standalone event, says Brickyard Brickhead. Well, according to motorsport.com, this is only going to happen once every 5 years. So I don't think they're necessarily intentionally doing it. They're doing it from the standpoint of efficiency, trying to be as efficient as possible with the driver's time and stuff like that. That's the official reasoning from the F1 game. The Daniels Amigos fan base is going to be big in Mexico City, says Douglas Serrano. For sure, he is without a doubt got to be the big fan favorite, you would imagine. And I think they have somebody else racing there too, maybe in the Xfinity series. So they're gonna have a lot to cheer for. I think it's going to be a big event for sure. One of the more popular events of the season. I understand moving Canada up after Miami, but the same day, and probably portion of it will be run during the 500. Really, Canada is usually one of the best F1 races every year, but don't love breaking Monaco tradition, says Napa Racing Fan. Indeed. So, and that to that point, do you move, maybe leave Monaco where it's at and move Miami and Canada? So that would be something that maybe they could have looked at doing instead. But it is what it is. They've made their decision, and now they're going to have to, I guess, deal with it. We'll see how it works out when it happens. Larry Mack said that was the policy when a spouse of a driver is about to have a baby. I didn't know they separated that from somebody just not showing up, says Dirty Deaf. So there you go. It is in fact a waiver, something you can get a waiver for, and you won't lose your points. So there you go. He is good to go as far as that goes, and good for NASCAR because you shouldn't have to make a decision like that. So good on NASCAR. Give them the credit where the credit is due as far as that goes. So in that case, that makes it a complete non-story. So yeah, there you go. No more to talk about as far as the Hamlin thing goes. Went to Charlotte, so the 30-day free trial on Prime is working out, says Delmer Kaufman's. There you go. Delmer Kaufman going to get them all in for free on his free 30-day trial. SVG is plus 330 odds for Mexico City, says OJ and Toothpaste. So there you go. SVG is the favorite according to Vegas. Rodgers signed with the Steelers. Indeed. Championship. Steelers championship. Jot it down right now. They have the Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. Yes, it's Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood in Pittsburgh, says Napa Race Fan. Cody Ware and Ty Dillon are plus 100,000 for Mexico. So there you go. If you want to take the long shot and bet on somebody who's really good at Earth 2 racing, those are your odds for them on Earth 1. Napa Racing Fan Nice says in between the lanes, what did you think about Denny post-race? I didn't mind the trash talking, but come up with another good dig, says Dirty Deaf. He's just doing it to trend. Like, he's just doing it to troll and trend. It's I don't know. Like I've said on here about a million times, all that stuff, it's just for show. It's just to stir the pot. It's just to create drama. It's just to get traction. It's just to get your name buzzing out there. However you want to say it, however you want to talk about it. It is what it is. Let's see. Would be awesome to see Ryan Truex in the 11 this weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong, but would that be the first time he's run in NASCAR this year, says Dirty Deaf? In the Cup Series, it would be. He's run some Xfinity Series races. Ross Chastain's Wendy's Frosty Scheme this weekend, says OJ and Toothpaste. Indeed, no doubt about it. Ross for sure. Running it's a really good looking scheme too. Sort of got like a red, white, and blue theme to it, but it's a Carolina blue, not necessarily a USA blue. And it's got like a swirl to it. It is a really good looking scheme. So look it up if you want to check it out. In between the lanes, saying first Byron and Larson having Valvoline schemes this weekend is a first. Says in between the lanes. There you go. Larson and Byron going to be rocking the Valvoline. So maybe Valvoline saw that as a market that they really want to get into. So that's super interesting as far as that goes. Hopefully the spotters can tell them apart. That goes back to an old Twitter joke, by the way. The weather looks spotty this weekend. Do you think in order to get this race in, if it's pouring, do you think the wet weather tires would magically turn into rain tires? Oh, for sure. They'll race in the rain if they need to get this one in, for sure. Thanks for answering. Do you think with Kyle Busch, it's a case of it's his equipment and his team as to why he's struggled to win, or is it personal skill falling off? I think the car is just a little bit behind. Obviously, the first three races they won, but I think they're just a little, and they're not far off, to be honest. And sometimes when he's had a good car, he's overdriven it. So it just depends on the situation. But I think they're right there on it. But obviously, he's won three races with them, so you can't say it's all the equipment, and obviously you can't say it's all driver because it's Kyle Busch. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on the weekend, but I think that they've got a good future ahead of them. They're just a little bit off on setup right now, if I had to guess, and they'll hit it eventually. They were really close this last weekend here at Michigan. Did you catch the Ty Gibbs exchange with Gabe Hart on the post-race radio? How likely is it that Gabe Hart stuck it to Ty on the fuel run, telling him to save so his boy Denny could win? Says Tim Race. I didn't hear the exact exchange. I did hear that Ty Gibbs had something smart to say, and that Chris Gabehart rebuked him, I guess would be, if you want to get into the teases nomenclature, rebuked him thoroughly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over there with that. Probably heat of the moment stuff. But yeah, Ty Gibbs was not in love with the strategy. And make your own, put your tinfoil hat on and make your own conclusions about that. Have you tried Oreo double stuffed cookie, says OJ and Toothpaste? Way back in the day. I try to stay away from the Oreos nowadays. They're just probably one of the worst things you can possibly eat health wise, but they do taste so good. Yeah, but double stuffed is the way to go. At least no Montreal NASCAR date for now. I meant Iowa finally got a cup date, says Napa Race fan. Yeah, so good for Iowa. And as time goes on, hopefully more states will get a cup race, as some of these tracks that are not selling out for both races will be have their races essentially taken away, because if you don't sell out for both, you shouldn't have two races. That's just my thought process on it. Will Stenhouse take out Suarez or Leg to continue his international carnage on road courses? I would definitely stay away from Amigo Suarez this weekend if he wants to leave in one piece, says Dirty Duff. Yeah, if Stenhouse should probably play it cool as far as that one goes. F1 should race Monaco with Fiats, says OJ and Toothpaste. That would be epic. That would be pretty epic. So I'm with you on that, OJ. Earth 1 and 2, we should see that. Didn't KB have a situation with the authorities in the land of Mexico? Indeed, he did, but he got that resolved, and he's taken some good ribbing for it on Twitter here recently. But apparently, all that is resolved, and he is good to go as far as the race goes. He will be racing there. I found out about Blaney winning the last truck race in Iowa via Instagram, says In Between the Lanes. So there you go. Instagram is where In Between the Lanes gets some, if not all, of his information about NASCAR and life. Just kidding. Is Juan Pablo Montoya going the honorary pace car driver as long as they keep the jet dryers far away, says Jamie Schweitzer. So there you go. Juan Pablo Montoya and the jet dryer forever linked together. Will they be enshrined in the Hall of Fame at the NASCAR Hall of Fame one day? Who will Xfinity? Who will win Xfinity this weekend, do you think, says OJ and Toothpaste? Oh, that's a good question. I have no clue. No clue. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's it's hard to bet against Connor Zilic. You know what I mean? It's a road course, so I guess the smart money would be on Zilic. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question though. I think Suarez is competing in a Mexico race down there. Says Dirty Def. He might be. I know he's going to be in the Xfinity Series race and also the Cup Series race. I don't know if he has any other races on the docket though. I wish Juan Pablo Montoya was also racing this weekend. Says Douglas Serrano. That would be pretty cool. F1 never move Monaco unless the 500 returns to a points race. Says Roger Penske. So there you go. That the captain has weighed in and given his opinion on the situation. Much appreciated, Raj. Let's see. When Larry Mack was on Door Bumper Clear, he talked about how Fox lacked post race coverage compared to Prime's post race coverage. There you go, Larry Mack digging in and getting in on it. Prime has a ton of coverage, so good on them. Like almost to the point where it's like too much, but I would rather have too much than too little because you don't have to watch all of it. You know what I mean? So good on Prime all the way around. Will F1 return to Indianapolis and run the circle track? Says OJ and Toothpaste. Absolutely not. They will not. F1 will probably never run another circle race if I had to guess. I'm all in with the drivers on raising the horsepower on the cars and putting racing back in the driver's hands, says Douglas Serrano. Me too. I'm with you on that. Making the tires smaller would be another thing I'm in on. Will Ross Chastain be able to bring a watermelon from his family's Florida farm in case he wins, or will he need to buy a watermelon from Mexico? That's a great question. That is a great question. He normally does it from like a regional area when he's in a regional watermelon farm. So my guess would be it would be a regional watermelon farm if I had to take a stab at it. Denny should say I beat Freddie Kraft. Says in between the lanes on Earth 2, they have snow tires with and race with chains. If it's snowing hard, they race through anything. Says OJ and Toothpaste. That's facts. That's facts. We have a tire for every situation you can think of. Including tank treads. DBC said that NASCAR found out on Earth too. DBC said that NASCAR found out they're going to have issues with the radio frequency down there, scrambling to find a local frequency for this weekend. I guess it's the Wild Wild West down in radio. Says Dirty Duff. So yeah, they might just have to get the anchor batteries and do a cell phone call. As far as that goes, get a multi-person cell phone call going on for the spotting. They'll figure something out though. They're sharp. They'll get on it. Do you like the new Papa John's cheddar cheese pizza crust? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I like the stuffed crust. The stuffed crust is the way to go as far as Papa John's goes. Other than the Roval and Daytona, how many road courses have lights? Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, that's a great question. That's one I can't answer off the top of my head. So good question. Wish I could answer it for you, but unfortunately, I do not have the answer for that one. Do you think Michigan race was the best of the season? Says Dirty Death. I don't know if it was the best of the season, but it was definitely a really really good race. So no, I don't think it was the best of the season, but I do think it was good. I'll say that. That just encourages demolishing the stands, says NPF. I got Seabell winning Xfinity and Bush for Cup. So Seabell for Xfinity and Bush in Cup. So there you go. There is in between the lanes picks. I got Zilich winning, says OJ and Toothpaste. So OJ and Toothpaste going with the same guy I got in the Xfinity Series. He's going with Zilich. Who was the local that got wrecked when the Xfinity Series was at Mexico City? I can't remember who it was, but said it got ugly with the fans. Oh man, hopefully that doesn't happen in this one. I don't remember that one off the top of my head, but I can look it up for you at some point. Another subject. Have you heard if the Big Two in NASCAR are interested in buying Rockingham? Says Massey Ferguson. I think they probably are, and they probably had a deal, sort of a handshake agreement in place before it was even announced that it was up for sale. Probably just working on the details of it. But yeah, I think because if you remember Brian Kennedy, he basically said he sees Rockingham being a part of NASCAR's future for a long period of time. So my guess would be that NASCAR is going to buy the track, and they already had kind of a handshake agreement going as far as that goes. Has F1 ever ran a circle track, and why don't they now? Says OJ and Toothpaste. My guess would be the speed. And if I remember correctly, like way back, and I might be wrong because I'm far from an F1 expert, but I think they did way back in the day have a circle track that they ran on somewhere. I think like in Italy. Let's see. So from 1950 to 1960, the Indy 500 race was part of the Formula One World Championship, but it was not under F1 rules, so it is technically not considered an F1 race. So there you go. In the late 50s and 60s, Monza used a combined road and oval configuration for the Italian Grand Prix. So there you go. They have sort of run an oval, but not necessarily for a points race, unless you want to consider Monza for certain for like a 10-year stretch. Which national anthem is played before the Mexico City race, and will the that's the AI answer, by the way. So you might have to check it deeper than what I checked it there. Will the Mexican military be doing a flyover upon whichever anthem is sung? What if you get two flyovers? That would be pretty cool. So good question. Hey BB, longtime sub, wondering if the straightaway in Mexico City is longer than Pocono. Oh, that's a good question. So it is 1.2K. And Pocono is, let's see, they've got one that's 3,000 feet. Of course, they're going to do these in different units of measure. It's looking like Mexico off the top of my head. I don't know. I'll have to look at that one a little bit deeper. Which national anthem is played before the Mexico City race? I just read that one. Dirty Deaf, they should use walkie talkies, says OJ and toothpaste. That's essentially pretty close to what they use anyway. Speaking of spotters, does F1 have spotters? I have a feeling that they don't, says Escobar. Let's see here. I don't think that they have spotters either. They have team communications, but you don't ever hear spotters on there during the team communications. So I don't think that they do. What's the worst car you have ever owned? Says OJ and toothpaste. The Fiat that I'm fixing to get rid of. For sure. How fast do you think the F1 cars would be on Talladega, and would they pack race? Says OJ and toothpaste. I don't think they would definitely be super fast. I think they go like 230 miles an hour or something like that. So and pack racing would be weird. Weird question, I guess. Then he says, when he wins, I beat your favorite driver. Does it make him feel good about himself? Says B. I don't know. I think he's just doing it to troll people, to be totally honest with you. Avis was a section of Autobahn with some banks at the end as well, says MPF. What's going on in Cali? The boys better be packing, says Massey Ferguson. Mexican national anthem is first, then the American national anthem. So the American national anthem is second. I mean, my favorite driver has won many championships, so there is no comparison here, says B. So B, not happy with the Denny trolling that he continues to do after the races. BB, what IndyCar drivers would you like to see make a NASCAR start? Scott Dixon and Scott McLaughlin. I would like to see come to NASCAR for sure. Zach Bishop saying thanks, no problem, my friend. BB, first time caller, long time listener. Just curious, might have asked you this a while when talking about NASCAR diecast. Do you find it difficult choosing what cars or trucks you would purchase? Says in between lanes. Not anymore, because I just get the race wins, and it has to be like a special car at this point, because I pretty much got like everything I ever could imagine as far as diecast goes. So just significant race wins are the only ones that I even think about these days. Do you remember when Roger Penske kicked Strimmy and put Brad Keselowski in the 12 car in 2009? He was driving the 88 Junior Motorsport Chevy and a Dodge Charger and Cup the last three races. Indeed, and it worked out quite well for the Capitan. Adrian Fernandez was the local guy that wrecked the last time in Mexico City. So there you go. Adrian Fernandez got wrecked, and apparently there was some conflict in the stands. So is Denny admitting when he says he beat everyone's favorite driver that he is nobody's favorite driver? Says Escobar. That is an interesting perspective. So he is actually kind of in a way taking a shot possibly at his fans. Scotty Mack visited the Rawlings factory in St. Louis in his latest vlog. IndyCar at Gateway, a night race on Sunday. So there you go. I'm glad you brought that up because Shane Van Gisbergen has a YouTube channel now. So check him out. Daniel Suarez also has a YouTube channel where he does a vlog. So check them out as well. Good content from both that I've seen so far. And I will have to check out Scotty Mack. I didn't know he had a vlog, but I will check that out now because I didn't know about that. Penske had to put Penske logos on the 12 car and not Verizon. Yeah, so that was an issue. AT&T was trying to skate by with that as well when they bought out Singular Wireless and put the AT&T logo on the 31 car. Sam Hornish Jr. was the guilty party that wrecked Fernandez. Suarez is my pick for this weekend. Vamonos, Daniel Suarez, says Douglas Serrano. I like your pick there. Suarez got to be the hometown favorite for sure. And anytime it's a guy's hometown track or a home track, they're always going to be super pumped up. So I do think that that's a good pick, to be totally honest. I bet we see a lot of avocados from Mexico commercials this weekend. Indeed. It's a super big product that they export for sure. Do you like Steve Letarte in the booth, says OJ and Toothpaste? I don't mind him. I know a lot of people take issue with him. Sometimes he talks strategy and the teams are obviously listening to it, and you can tell that the teams heard what he just said, and their strategy is reflected because of that. So sometimes it is a detriment to some of the other teams, but he does give good analysis. So it is what it is. Going to be a lot of Daniel Suarez fans in Mexico. Indeed. Only way Suarez wins is if he is driving an F1 car in that race, says Escobar. So Escobar does not think Daniel Suarez has a good chance. He does have a road course win, though. So I don't think you can completely count him out. OJ and Toothpaste saying laughing my butt off, Escobar. Said John Hunter Nemechek has been hanging out at Jimmy's house in Colorado for the last couple of weeks to help get acclimated with the elevation. Could have been what was wrong with him in Michigan, says Dirty Death. Maybe we'll see. So yeah, the altitude and the endurance will be a factor. So the drivers that are out of shape, unless they're just super calm naturally, they're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage in the car this weekend at altitude for sure. Will Jimmy Johnson win a cup race again, says OJ and Toothpaste? Let's shake the magic 8 ball here. All signs point to no. That's what the magic 8 ball said. So I'm not expecting that to happen, but if it does, I'll be the happiest person to be wrong of all time because Jimmy Johnson seems like a pretty cool dude. Probably way too much pressure on Suarez this weekend to pick him to win. I can't imagine. Yeah, but sometimes he's always under pressure. He's always on the hot seat, so he's probably used to the pressure for sure. Corona Extra and avocado toast is what I'll be enjoying during this race, says Jamie Schweitzer. OJ and Toothpaste saying LOL to the magic 8 ball there. So the invisible magic 8 ball, if you will. All right. Final results of the poll question. Hit it, McLovin. Is F1 Racing Canada the same time as the Indy 500 a good idea? 76% said no. 24% said yes. Another terrible poll question from your boy. All right. Will we get another surprise Burton type win this year? I think so. OJ and Toothpaste. I do think we will have a surprise winner. I just don't know who it's going to be. Will it be a Gilliland? Will it be a Carson Hocevar? Will Teasus? Not a lot of people are thinking about Teasus, but Teasus keeps creeping up there. Can young TZ get it done? It's he, TZ. But yeah, it could be one of those. I actually think it's a bad idea, says Douglas Serrano. So there you go. Bad idea having the F1 race weekend the same weekend as the 500. I agree. I think it's only going to hurt F1, but we will see. All right. That's going to do it for this one. I appreciate y'all hanging out. It was fun as always. And until the next one, have fun. Peace.